Entansi entansi we die enani de twato nte ye dan akasiba kura no a ye no bedi nkra ansa na 2025 ye gya no kwama nakọ na ye wura 2026 mu nti critical issue ne yamfa amna mu ntamo a mu fanche ye mfiri ye ne mfidie no ye yi kakra na nso mu do nti ene se da muso mu do ye nti na sese ye twen akọpọ bre a won be hihye be wie na ye di nkomo me fa san kwen fa seda ma mu nyina se munya botre na mutwen yen na yaba na ye be di ye nkomo se siman po asa me di kankan no ye no be di nkra ese asempa hoi etia na madam abidwafo no so asese mo baaye na mfidie no aka chi nyina na se nema enkoye nyina no matwen a ama ye be duru ba bia ye duru nti meda mo ase papa mpanyinfo abeka mensa na ene me no won be dwumadie minifa so professor Enoch Opoku Entry oye governance expert ye ka se amamu a ohunu de book mu de ewo ho osuahunu de ewo ho na fie nyansa so de ka ho te ka ne miensa ne bomu a ma ne ye soronko ene rotimi benkum so pen so ono de as usual na na ofie ha Ebo Bokman ono na deputy director of communications Edema United Party Dr. no so MPP amayuko na namu ono besi ye kwasibotwe junior wono so ka communication team no ho ena de a otwa to a o shefugu no na hofa ene ni din ese ye fe no Fuseni Donko ni area eno mo ye fugu no nti wa hye bi ono de bi ono nkwa no hye o man bi hye na ono ntwen bisuminya bi hye at the right time pa ono no deputy director in charge of operations Edema National Service Authority ena me one and only TV star misumi wa ha abia phone da mu nyina se da mase papa ena mo mra mo de ache ye ne niam na dile nyina no munya bre na mo ne yetina na no pay ba me first da specialist in suo sense o mu kura ye mu afimu ni nyina ye no mo na ye adwuma ro ma se mesira so ba no so no special eyes sense nsu ahodo a ye no sese no utumi hu ne ye papa na specialist there we can guarantee say baby ye tu so na fi any process is a firm answer na begu tu anu mu any process is a firm answer na begu sahye mu no enyasem kuma kora nti no no mo a na ese wonhwe wachi unsuro hwe sanse ya so ne so ai de kama e de ma ya pomuden special drink no so no we eye cola fine papa me ti ano bate tiu fine pa na akokoye weekend ye betumi anom no raw enya raw so de be fra so de am kire no me ka de be fra man 40 ase papa enti eno na ye wosan wo grape ni ye wo apple ene de kaka ho ano penso ma me fast the piesie ema this way chocolate drink and the coffee drink o madama ana de bi eno anaju sei me kwakoda na ise de won am kire no ho ana me hwie ba kokpa me boy me dai papa enti wo so bobade ana this way tin ofia bribia anopa ene anwumre awia betumi aboni nyina kama na fe net fufu ni tabekwan so de your friend se benhia net fufu simanum na me was strategy bi amedeka nti see me in chambers twan pa na edekeke I'm telling you papa ni tabekwan so no enye Agya Kwabena no so yes type bi no de bi we de yan you local ameya na ye de aye nti no anu so de ni tabekwan fine pa afi the new kid in the block Lucozade here tin kan cho ma hoden yes edu ba bi na somebody na emre a eno Lucozade hwe drink bia ne ba bia ye energy drink papa bia che Lucozade no kre ba kope any side effect bia me kam chiro enti se aye said the aye die aha ebema this Christmas ye be di no kwaso so kra I'm telling you because as you see ye di ye ya na ye bra na ye benom na enya hoden na ya sanko to aso na ya ye ne sapepe enti ene o mada Roma na ye dey critical issue ebremo na akasema nwotwe na abo nondu na nkase se ye hyase no nwotwe se me dey kankan na so ye fidie no ho tochi makakra enti mo fanche yen eda mo asese mo age atom nso edamase papa nti na de eye boja ye tew na ye kwa no enura ena Minister of Justice any Attorney General ye press conference na ne nsama woka ene se opani ba ko a se ni din na da paso na obi aka eye owura Ken Oforiata owura Ken Oforiata nkane ono na oye omeyesa na hene because finance minister na be America kra be sinko yinim se OSP Office of the Special Prosecutor enso edinachi se enam no so ma me yaboka bebre nti o mere na oso yare na okọ America na okosa na yare na krata efi hospital bi ba yese ye ne ho dodo no we be no operation ti e fine be pem na ekete no ho to no beba ya titititi nsem na omaye na no ena Attorney General say wo mo de nkrata ekwakoma mo de akwakoma anaso process no muguso am de akwakoma America ban ne say wo mo wona tiku no amra Ghana na nsem ahodo no wo mra emeyi ano na no de yenya ne tie so say ono so afa lawyer fo a omodu America ho pa say ono wo mo so enkan enfama ne say na be ya say e be wona tiku fi America ba Ghana ha de ankwanko ba so sa no ntina America ho sa abiribia na eno na ye bedi ho komo na pe bi se empani se bibia eni unsemu a ye moa ye nsama nkoda entity ye sechi se bibia enhye unsemu a o moa won nsama nkoda entity un sechi eno ni hwe nim enti saboni bi ansi ye boni bi ansi na se owo ho a maba bo se my body minie ana na mo bi eti Attorney General kakra ne nsamra CCI
But 19th 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Oforiata and NS Darko Akore from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via a letter dated 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided a requested additional documentation and addressed the observations that we raised, thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States. At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the two accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I am not permitted to go into the details of the charges. But the charge sheet is a public document and has been made available, and all of you, I'm sure, have access to it. There are 78 charges against Honorable Ken Oforiata and his accomplices, and they border on causing financial loss to the state, using public office for private benefit, and so on and so forth. So you can look at the charge sheet and then make up your minds with respect to the charges. So I won't comment on them in today's press conference. Basically, what I want Ghanaians to know.
Attorney General na wakasa se womo de nkrata akoma America ban hwe na womo ma owura Ken Oforiata ye wona ti koma ne samra Ghana se de be one owura one Ernest Okorie o mmiri nyina womo ma momra Ghana na ye hwe okwan be faso fu se ni wodi e ona bo ma mhye se fan furu se muna mo abamu akame se owura kanofori atasemi aye kwanabra ana bedu bebia yedru asisi de attorney general aka say wo mo de nkrata na koma America Department of Justice enti sia no America Department of Justice ye wo mo so omotemu aso ye no and the behwe say whether there is basic I say nyina so bi ho am betu agina so aka say owura kanofori atomra ana say ma woma does that mean say yeah nkrata ye de call ye say ye person owura no ye man America for man baga na ha no enkura wait munye du ye betu agina say we dey kwenku de America for ebeka say won fa na embra mama be sima be nso
chia ne watiefo ne wahwefo yem found to like let's put it on record say this is the first time aban bi aba we na mamu a the finance minister adwane our your fourth republican constitution
we adwane ana no
we adwane accountability. This is the first time IBSC it you know because they be ano eya na minuanom eya o ma na machi enipa ba kokorada ena enipa bia ni ho amatimi kura prosecuting obi kura ni ho amatimi ebu ano for that but yem fan to for the records this is the first time in the fourth republican constitution aban bia free so and the finance minister adwane bra fie kura na be yin sema no o se da memba ena me no ka say owo Canada visa nkwa be 10 years da ho nti ye hyehye America na de besi yes ye ato na wanhwe kro be dwane akwa Canada na no ye sa ko start extradition process foforo osanso wo 10 years wo UK nti eduru de den na America for say kanofurata bo onema no na de aye de agisa okurum ko ekoyi nsema no a wanhwe yi na no so oje otedon yebeti eni no osa kopie UK de benka kranhwa ne e ho de yetimi de naba nanso it should tell you the kind of mess sabe Ibrahim Anado Penso the finance ministry was subjected to because Rollins free so Victor Salome ne era Kwampepra so no mo ma emu ha ya we fully causing financial loss ya fa BND omo Ira Mohammed Friso se tekpe oninanenam so menya kurum ha ya wanko ba bia da oninan so menya nkran saa kopem se nyame adoma yesa ba
se o ma pena da je ku for kra abreso na ura ya osafo mafo ene panyifo ahudu bi be finance ministers
o ti so obi dwane njade na we nku ade onu nku ade we dwane a on bezo be ba ne kurum bi
so no wan ka so odwane so ose okohwe ne ho yare e man krata Crafi hospital bi by say on be the major surgery until after the surgery no but no am a correspondent between the hospital and the government no ye hunu ni nyina
am wie ne ye to ye nsafre ne so bra ukrum na o se mintimi mba bra ukrum kopim se ye de no koto first ever finance minister ye de na to wanted list so no red alert bibia be ube hia ni bia akamama ye be kase bibia ube hia ni bia pra no so for me on say enura na metie prof and I must commend him. He had really educated us because you need to feel say extradition process no enura so Ghana America foi ihia kanofori atambo na abomo bra yen nti nka Ghana fo bi kura ne na America ne ehia na enura se ye moa ne she boot eduru airport na eja ya jeje ntobo na ke atwa plane ticket ni amoa na economy mu ne de naba but I was also educated say wo peni pana kura no afa na oman na ono no di US no so betena say aka say okay we fully causing financial loss to the state no eye boni wa Ghana America mramu so eye boni ana this yeti ankoye yie na sa America there is no way fully causing financial loss to the state itiate omunfiye
Mema prof
so
because questions be below say
yes. Say corruption charges are they born 78 ni nyina na in America for be fa no ba ku mienu miensa all the 78 we eye bone wa ha we eno so ye bone wa ha we eno so ye bone wa ha ansana say ni nyina satisfier ansana o maka say oh okay sa de a afi de ene wadi bone ampa ntino ko kurum na ko yi ano. That is also there. And what you cry and son of my say America crown yen ntem ayonko fanete saying. Do we have that relationship sebi obidi bone near the ne ye kase yemfa ne mbra America Ghana for ye
I say ne na say much
it you know they will also look at the bilateral relations between us first. And sana the most critical one kura say na Ghana temu kura ite say sabi omubu atenchia anase emransem na e wo Ghana no omubu ni yie enti no nsem bi hidie bufu pa ansoso no dia aba no gisi yedi so gisi enya ho abotre na ye fani nyina mu no obi ka so ene yemfa obi bese abotre kakra yemfa na nye obi bese butter trade ene mo so mo pa abotre kadia ene mo fa kenofori atambra say abotre kadia so kakra wo 8 million den kebi wo $8 million ebi wo intino mo so mo fa yura ken maye na mo so mo but enye so correlated ni nyina boy obi be ka say boil it down to relationship aye ne omo wo
honorable obi be say see enim ni sade a anya denti ne man kwa man ko in the first place
na media office of the special prosecutor ho ya kakra because as a kwan bi so no ye sheda ko bie sebi ebu no gu ho eye kai emwani pie ya ansana yekotubo nsi emwani ye pie o na so na emwani ya na yekotie mu emwani pie ya ansana yekotubo no so in a way if because office of the special prosecutor there if in another pencil be pim joma pencil there was no break, there was no transition. Inti bra na we hear yura ken for no you shouldn't have even waited for until after elections. Me say they make an ultimatum here. Inti say ayam papa seka office of the special prosecutor per se and ka oni Ghana for deal ye no holding yura ken for accountable and ko chase before even the elections.
So your press conference can say who say ura ken for kopa nanso no na oni to me bia oni ahodi bia no man assign it.
He has the powers to stop you even at the airport. Or kwan say o catch immigration for or kwan say o catch airport Ghana airport company say even foreign affairs asimesi passport musizi see the bet me seize your passport o bet me catch police for aje your passport said that there are corruption charges against you who took kwan yenye special prosecutor was out to me no ntika pass a person Ghana for din year and ko share charges na se cry before even the December elections. What am I saying? And even to wait until after the elections sebi who the sebi ubo like ubo on a charge now say hwema nitimi say tu kwana hono na say etwetwe maso kakra because I say ye share ya say wo de ekọ na me mfa asem ye nsha asem na say. So it was as if Ken Ofori-Atta was allowed to just go. Then right after Okodu Yanansana assembly wait cross Ghana for ebeto yenim. But me adwe me senka assembly betimi ahase ye wa ha. Irajo Mahama Adaroma say UGMC ho. Ye dem pa na ye no land ho ni UK ho US ho na na ye ntimi nya bi wa ha. So for me a honu kakra ne de me giri say OSP ni endi ni. But Attorney General so as say no. Yes, Attorney General would have been constrained because on only the gise abansi sare ne buy ne gise will take office ye koye ne vetting yes so any in and sakra no wenye tumi a odo be hye adwuma ase. So it was as if no ba be hye ase na OSP ahye ase deda OSP nsusu ye ne nwuma ni nyina bi wi a kese ne bia kura wo ho gise wo de come Attorney General so who it's okay OSP ahye ase dia ma me hwe de be kwa akosi until say who said there be ade no asa akoye kusi koda kusi it's like enko bia. So the Attorney General has to now step in. Now Attorney General no bemwa then it becomes now a bilateral issue now.
Akoye
omine what I say OSP there it mean here omine bi su corruption agency be. So it can be an agency to a government. But once the Attorney General comes in, then it becomes Ghana versus US. Okay. And the honor na say no wait na nkasa ba be gina say. So this is where you
mubato ba ku bi mwanya ho hwe yansa na we ba ma rasa de nam tamaklo. Wono yesi ade na momo so munimu say ma me no.
Ona say Attorney General e kan tro koma US kwa say omo extradite ono so sombre. No, that one was also done. Yeah, Attorney General, or tro koma even before Ofuriata dey kura be shase. Time na OSP here said the name your friend is saying you can Ofuriata dey no. The first thing the Attorney General did was to request say I'm passing US for na chin wo ho dey ani omo fa dem breye. That letter went, I think, 2-3 months ago.
I see.
And son of Furiata de Sukraba become.
Okay. Me that's because what you need, my brother na sense when you see yentia. Yes. Owa kan Furiata buy no. Ade ba ko a wo kan ye e ma Ghana fo nyina hu ni so no nya katua. Ejuma no no ye de a choma no do Ghana too much into no ye e de ma Ghana free into no you pay. Enti onya katua na ene wabon ho modin akuni ho asom oman no na se koba se oman no ade subo ati se bo ne se wa ma oman na bokane na sefo a be ya se wanye boni bia na skakra wa usika na do to aduane di usika na wo de ye bibia na wasom oman for about 6-7 years na ye de so bo beto so sana ano hyepa. This is Bibisa anywhere. I don't know, man, no man be anyone.
Agya Kwabena no pay de mefa konya so na machia mpanyufo a yebedi nkomo enia na machia ahwefo a gibrea anope omo hwe ne am obia afihia pa emse bronya ni mu ane ewe ne am obia so Merry Christmas yedo masese afiwe ni anomo ne anante aba bedru sabre. Agya Kwabena asema obisa media ne kwaso ano no na ansa na mesha ase na the American say NPP as amanyoko no yenye against accountability ye ditumu say obia waba besom oman no ewo kwan bia so no ewo se sa nipa kro no o aveli ne ho se oman ni susu se wafa kweti kwan bi so e de oman no Ghana fo yeto yesika na fa baabia ewo se o aveli ne ho ema oman no etimi bisa ne nsemfo abi se court ne de ne be kwa kogina ewo so aveli ne ho me ye de ne court. The NPP is not against accountability. The NPP is not against the fight against corruption. You supported the fight against corruption, you supported the fight for accountability. However, baby NPP what challenge is the weaponization of state institutions and what looks like say rule of law no say ni ye dani ni obi be bisa no say na kenofo yata insense mi e shase free hen me pacho on 2nd January, and in fact I will start here free here because ya think komo bi say kenofo yata wadwane kenofo yata on pese ye de ne be kwa kogina court inti na wadwane no no kwa akra ne finance minister abanya sesa wadwane. I think say kasa yenya abotre kakra ni slow down because events being lead to baby I one, and so it is very unfair on the part of anybody to accuse Ken Ofori-Atta say when Jane. And I'm saying say Ken Ofori-Atta in Jane and I say when Jane because 2nd January na Ken Ofori-Atta a troll letter. I'm sure say about public ni ya aware. A troll letter ma the then chief of staff Akosua Frema Opare say ne homfa no. And in fact any ayete Ghana he ye nim say a matter of judicial notice say and public knowledge say ora Ken Ofori-Atta ne homfa no. In the 2nd January no troll letter ma Yama chief of staff then say opeso tu kwan for medical checkup and I'm sure say for very good reason in no troll letter no command the then chief of staff send the beya aban no will know say Ken Ofori-Atta ahase no wo ye hwehwe na ahase ne ebetime hu no inti no troll letter ne koye no o troll letter ne koye no elo timi tu kwan 22nd January sometime na aban asesa ya handing over wie the new administration that take over near naming new chief of staff or some throw a second letter the current chief of staff the Honorable Julius Debra or some throw a second letter man they say oh on 2nd January or throw letter man the predecessor and they say or call for medical checkup in the US into announce ban or notify and say idea or yeah routine medical checkup ewo Mayo Clinica ewo US intino he's putting the current chief of staff on notice intino I am sure say the current administration and I say chief of staff or no na all here to the current presidency and the current administration no in the whereabout of Owura Ken Ofori-Atta and I am also not sure maybe honorable for saying what if you obey me or be correcting me I'm not sure so Trokoma chief of staff no chief of staff ne catch and say all returning brand or minor to answer some questions. I have not seen any such letter from the outfit of the chief of staff. I am very sure say the chief of staff is very much aware and on notice say the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta is out of the jurisdiction due to medical situations. Right.
Ochre edema the then chief of staff
2nd January
Pepacha na the current chief of staff no
enyambaye
intino obefi Ghana ne de na current chief of staff no nim ho hwe
there be that was on 2nd January however no on 22nd January another current chief of staff na ba no or some man another letter for the current chief of staff to know say or outside the jurisdiction for medical operations
not uni Ghana
Satam no Ghana.
Current one or they might know Ghana.
Pacha I know Ghana. That is it. So in some way near course we near January and the office of the special prosecutor be a press conference. Ekeka in some say Ken Ofori-Atta aye akose 1 or 2 infractions. I almost say ebumbra so. And they went ahead, fast forward, they went ahead to declare him as a wanted fugitive. In fact, on my press conference, they were no Ken Ofori-Atta through the lawyers. At Trokoma, the special prosecutor say, Ken Ofori-Atta notify a binder of the day, say, or on medical checkup kakra. Then so per se on any year virtual discussion, virtual interrogation are available. They should arrange for a virtual interrogation. But your OSP no honor can say no the on here virtual interrogation that he needs the physical presence of Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Into back and forth of virtual interrogation in the anko baby. Fast forward now, Office of the Special Prosecutor and it's a year second press conference. It declared as a wanted fugitive. Or declared as a wanted fugitive. No later they no to FBI red notice, so wanted notice, so Interpol red notice, so. Later now, you say the lawyers and so are contested. So the number say year free her. As he saying, what we know is that Attorney General is very much interested in the matter. As he say, Attorney General and update on the matter. In the initial stages, now your Office of the Special Prosecutor and yes, Jumano. But you see, we accused and now OSP accused Ken Ofori-Atta of stealing and other things in January. As a January, and filed charges against Ken Ofori-Atta here. As a January, no court of competent jurisdiction bia enka say Ken Ofori-Atta ewi o mainisika. The Constitution in Article 90 is super clear. Say a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Oh, hey, criminal jurisprudence for Ghana has in the law supports the indolent. So the law supports the suspect or the accused person, because the criminal jurisprudence ni who say the entire republic or the entire state and the nipa baako na akwa jina court. Into the law is structured in a way say who nipa ni yede wakọ jina court and the law ni jina wechi because of mining yede wakọ jina court. Into the constitution or more mature constitution in their wisdom and conviction, this share article 19 clearly and unambiguously say a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction, and not until proven guilty by the Attorney General or the Office of the Special Prosecutor or the Special Prosecutor himself. Into a court in a bit to me, a boy say, assume say no benting, we di boni and now on di boni. In the instance of Kenofoyata, court biya M1 say we di boni. Next year press conference, kase we real minisika engineer go ahead and declare as a wanted fugitive. Ohwe Extradition Act Ghana ye wana. It is also clear. Say even crown answer na obetimaka say obi a wanted fugitive. Obi a ya charge na ebia edu say ana court a convicting edu say obe serving the sentence. Or Johnny and now or dodge from the sentence. The classical example you said in Temaklu. And so if we want a fugitive from justice, then it is Madam said in Temaklu. We share Extradition Act now and how it describes persons who are supposed or persons who are fugitive from justice. The situation clearly links to their Madam said in Temaklu, and I said the situation of Madam said in Temaklu. In the first place, I think say that declaration of Kenofoyata as a wanted fugitive was in bad taste. It was in bad taste totally, and a idea Mimi Susu say it was even against the fundamental human rights of Kenofoyata. And again, they say point now you wanna. The extradition clearly from a legal point of view doesn't rest with the Attorney General. They say it rests with the US Secretary of State. Because the Attorney General and the Office of the Special Prosecutor no be be anomaye. They say no, the discretion is with the US Secretary of State say obe decide say yemfa Kenofoyata ambra Ghana and I say man yemfa ne mba Ghana. And like Honorable Fuseni rightly espoused say it would depend on certain factors. One of the critical factors will be say Kenofoyata ba Ghana obenya fair trial and now onya fair trial. And now we know say as at the time I yen charge Kenofoyata or court kra no. Ya press conference akase nipa no ye crowfo e declare wanted fugitive. Running prejudicial public commentaries. And he said, let me use this platform to say this categorically. Say, all the persons encouraging the learned and respected Attorney General to hold press conferences before and during prosecution, they are preparing him for failure. Because some of these public utterances, and then they be informing the U.S. Secretary of State, and they say, Adiana Ekoso about Kenofoyata ninia, it is more of politics rather than law. Because Abaya Sisa and Abaya Sisa, they are also monitoring the legal jurisprudence of this country. Abaya Sisa, quickly, they are filing no prosequa in some cases. And quickly, they perceived, say, they members of the former administration, arrange your move before court. It is normally near Nyoma contributing to inform the U.S. Secretary of State, Amane, who say, Kenofoyata yakase ombra Ghana, fair trial, fair trial, and onyebi. And the reason why I'm saying say fair trial no, is under threat is because there seems to be a sudden partner under Abai where Abai say or yeah reset. I mean them who say reset and a reverse mum na dey economy say. And I'm saying this from a legal point of view because say ye chewa say what committee offense bia. Even though the constitution is you are presumed innocent until proven guilty no. The Ebene say law enforcement agencies, omiti wa no mama bail condition. Bail condition na omunim pepe say you cannot fulfill or you do not have the capacity to fulfill the bail condition. Your bail condition na ye de wa to afiase ya incarcerate you for close to 30 days, for close to 2 months, for close to 3 months. A classical example is Honorable Fuseni Donko. Nipa no wo ho ansa na oba. And I say nimpenifo no mo baby a wo national service wo ansa na sisi nyamiadom ono nso wo ho no honorable Esibe any gift your worry Agya Kwabena it may interest you to know say honorable Esibe eda yoko custody close to 3 months obi a say you presumed innocent until proven guilty no obi a court bianca say we di boni no ye dey not to custody for 3 months adentia
so or lawyer for nti den na lawyer for ye dey found.
So the question is adentia because you arranging it to court and a young man a draconian and unreasonable bail condition of 800 million Ghana cedis sabe tafrache it them when you mean say obi our property worth 800 million Ghana cedis into this bail condition need to obi so clearly you are trying to communicate that to the person say you are using bail as a pre-trial punishment again Agya Kwabena on the same point obi ti say Kwabena Edubu anya ye arranging wo court ono so say ye mane da yoko custody for 33 days obi aye say or presumed innocent until proven guilty. It happened in the case of Chemawun to me, it happened in the case of Hanan, it happened in the case of Provenza, and that is the trend that is going on. And the US for no monitor the legal jurisprudence or the legal space or the prosecution space of this country. They clearly draw the but one irresistible conclusion say no rule of law you are done as a tool for political convenience.
Just as funny say America for na wo ehunu se ebia yatemu no esinto wo ho se me kanesa na so mu nimpa so se no kwaso nipa na dibone ampaniampa won beka so nipa na dibone ampaniampa no so wadi bone na omususu se ebia yatemu no chima kakra ho nti na no twa manema.
Right, that's a very good question. But you see, it doesn't lie within the US Department of State to determine whether or not to be a dibone or no be in dibone. It doesn't lie in the mouth or in the discretion of any other person. Yeah, including the Attorney General, the respected Attorney General, and the OSP, to determine whether or not say Obi Diboni and no be Diboni. What they can do is to present the fact to a court of competent jurisdiction for the court to determine say Nipani Diboni and Nipani Diboni. And in the US Department of State, it is not their job. It is not within their power. It is not within their discretion to determine the guilt or otherwise of Honorable Ken Ofo-Yatta. However, what is within their discretion is to determine whether or not Ken Ofo-Yatta will be subjected to fair trial. Whether or not Ken Ofo-Yatta no obenya atentene, whether or not Ken Ofo-Yatta ba yen command the bail condition of 500 million Ghana cedis are ultimate for failing and until ye de never to NIB, OSP and Yoko for 2 months, 3 months, the session ye dia no. That is what the US Department of State will consider and will draw the conclusion say based on the AC in recent times, based on precedent, the Ken Ofo-Yatta ba onya fair trial as espoused in our 1992 constitution.
Judiciary no, muji judiciary nidi. Say judiciary no, abeye muji judiciary nidi.
I am one of the persons I have said times without number. Say me, I have utmost belief in the judiciary. I am part of the judiciary. I am an officer of the court.
Not until say ebia court weka so nipa na di bone no. Obi ntumi ka se wadi bone enti Attorney General de ko na so nipa ni bone a se ye judiciary ni di ampani apa se ye ni di a wo so nipa na di bone na me judiciary na muji mi di mi so me madwuma pepepe enti no so de baba se me nipa na di bone o so ni bone o court na be kire enti se ka se ebi a onipa no enya fair trial a that means se na judiciary no be si gina no obebu nipa na tem no yanyini ni
Jacob Brown, didn't you pay was and say what being pa? Question now will be an excellent question again. But the point here is that we are not talking about the trial process. We are talking about the pre-trial process. You can say prosecution and as a trial. Trial no, it's in various stages. Courtroom prosecution here just one leg. Right from the time of arrest, of the fair trial provisions has been activated. The American say bail no, you're using as a pre-trial punishment. As an do be now court crowd no dem be 2 months because what mean for failure bail condition. But what the American say? Obi ti say Kwabena Edubu in case near classical example. Obi ti say esibe case aye ka ho asemi. So our court. But law enforcement agencies need the imposing bail condition. Our court now vary twice. Law enforcement agency Yoko Emma esibe bail condition of 800 million cedis. High court ne vary by 623 million. Later the lawyer san ko plead here Emma ye dey about 120 million Ghana cedis. And the bail na ye ka ho asem. The bail is being used as a pre-trial punishment, as a means to antagonize and punish supposed accused persons even before they are arraigned in court.
Okay. Me dan say ebo minimum 7 na mode asem no ba mani enti na mo be ka abontin bia de me de ye fa ne say bia me yo hene ena me yo hene so apa me de me yo nananam tie de ambeka abonti bia de mobeka na mo na sam no betoma nimu a ana me otemuafo no ana sami nana besi gina se de Solomon abreso esi ye no oba ba ko se eyemeba wonsu se eyemeba de ye ne bank sankasa de ye ne ban se ai ne twa no mutu na ya nche na obi anfa half de ye ne ban akasa ka se dabi Solomon otemuafo no ono tena akiri hu se dabi ade no se netie ode tentire ne ye adwuma e wo musansa na sa ema mienu no kra baba Solomon animu no na de obia wode awaka ane de obia ye wabonten ne nkofo nsama makeka nka aboti but de bedu Solomon animu no ode mra ye adwuma enti sa onipa no ebeba attorney general de case ko no I argue said den na so onipa ne nya bone na owura kanofo ratan so lawyers ba no mo so argue ema judges for na yesi agi omudi no ehun se owura kanofo ratan ni asem oni bo anya bibia so eden de besi enye dwa no beja no sa process here famu nyina no bebia bedure no ohun ni sanyebo
eja ozikan ma minchi ahwafo na etiefo na munu anuma manyo wontina ha nyina na minchi obibia la na minchi ama igwafo people of Cape Coast minchi hon Cape Coast South Bakano Roman fearful munu anuma nyina mo na afisha pa mo wonye sumi na mabasa mentu mambaso a mo nyina afisha pa eja
ebo
na konsam nye de kenofro ato gwane no rugwane no ntum nchon atam do rugwane
better now do come out
on ntum nchon do rugwane you see okay asema ye kana serious case o eja mama kan chiro se fankan be bi na se wona mbafama wa wan kate nso obonu mpo onya bi wonno nso obonu no wanyini ye onya bi wonno ma corruption kan huntira se ko hin nkrase na wona mbafama a wako school was wonye funto na wochro wote eduase na wusun agency ehum tu nsu to the classes open classes se eco hospital na painful ba onyinsan be 8 months or the phone onya mpanda do na so onya show mpo da ebe no bo wono no obata asa na obowu mpo enu da mun sam nyina akọ be bi nyimpa na nantwi na wonu nsu kor ayo corruption tira ayo corruption Ghana ye embe ye bra nyina o se na nyimpa kutum fa kon bido sika ncho botum wesi hospitals be 10 won crossing na nkutin fa odo to mo na ebusuafo odo manamba amotwene bi namba ka cha yen namba de o papa wa mbobra ye bebi ye dui ayo corruption nti papa no gwane oni ma za waye nti no gwane yen nti na ne da maka asem one of the television stations there yen shambra the ansana ye boto aban obi bia na public office holder abana appoint to wa ele ye djuma no government appointee bia no bo passport whether diplomatic one or personal one nya yen jinto
yan pede ma ontu kwan
yes yen jinto before the elections ama say what to aban na say wan call ma na say e pede igwo na enyi passport ebutumi ze tukwan say pepei ya stop na nchenyende o say the Ghana yakwa US extradition now the nchenyendru ho eja kana for ato nyi wana o ye former president Akufo-Addo nunua o appointing o kansem akasa fa no ho school a wakọ aza wa ye was Ghana sikasem nyina hyanensa da papei awo na hwe sikasa bodo tentenenza mama mbabu na wunye adwuma ye hwenzama magana yes kasam yan bibia wa besa bia onjina ye de shawonsa I blame parliamentarians abotum overti Kenofurata na waka China Kenofurata kay minister before that the man had issues nto say the parliamentarians wujina do I blame them also that wotum oswa Ghana fu no nyima wo madam papai obey finance minister no bia ojilona ni company ni personal company onya home for so loan bia la yeji wo Ghana han ni company oye data bank onya home for so even I didn't see the feed there Ghana ye bobusa ma na ebosa wa mene yen because bosa na oba no because of no for so ntia Pepe yara kenofrata ye kana se mi. Ona nankasa any insurance company, what for enterprise insurance. Abandon cars, first in SIS or register. Abandon cars, what insure. Obey what GFE SIS won some. Now the company, enterprise insurance and the register abandon cars. Say abandon my contractor, I put in the contractor. Also there won't insurance or your enterprise insurance. In fact, to the extent that there's a couple a government institution, a couple or banker, your guarantors or your insurance guarantee, must come from enterprise insurance. Don't put it once a million. SMLDs and as it there, Ghana is a assembly or could be offered an name. Yam with them to me, but for Ghana, my Ghana on Kodo, because you've had finance ministers. What's in the crime? What's in the crime? Iriguan, Inyaku could do so. Iriguan, and I show them because I'm more Yaraba. I said, oh, you're doing a Chabagane.
Maybe I can't last injection be our more on Abadan.
Victor Solomon, Mr. Chachuchikata. Oh, I brought you, no, what's it there? Oh, I someone said you are doing Ghana. If I brought you a bay, we face you long, which is Solomon prisoner. When we were prisoner. Can you imagine there, President in India? According to sources, so he was so even powerful than even the vice president. Also moved to Kwana, and the chief of staff to back at the moment. But also don't excuse if no, the fact one of you what's the minister in Doyle? Why don't what's the minister no? What's the man to? No, maybe full from me. That's all. Oh yes, the Samintina. Oh yes, the Samintina. Even Oyarin, only one yanti. No Oyarin pen. What's in as a finance minister?
Ebo no ngi pay. And then what you can so no say. Oba time a wo yo batampa. O so de ono yo batam Ghana no. Ghana ka ho chiri mu a o ntwa Ghana nya sa da. Obe gina pinti ama Ghana. Nti so bia tu no ama sei. Na so nya ketua. Na so man se kasem eje agu na so tumi nya kodo kase menyi Ghana ma megina ho Ghana on say nkamfo
eja also nya kotua so nya kotua ntoyi one nya kotua mponi onyi ombre you see so obi podo dada wa or a lesson to all of us maka they gave you free SHS. They stole more than that. Us on Jakutua, he stole more than that. We should be serious in this country. Eja, I mean, for me do. Into minimosi, how no come ote. Into when I see the teeming youth, unemployed youth in this country becoming hopeless. Also on the pony baby ako. Only a jumori here, only baby ako. Also on the pa. You'll be in school 5 years. Also, still this is one of my ne kitchen, ne jazzy. Na say yamu too water them. Now yenzema basa brebiyano. You see, when the lawyers are quoting the Constitution, they will quote. You see, let me tell you, one is innocent until it's proven guilty. No, that in there say, you know, when they busy. Second, I will be near Mpono Wekuna. Ipokonyon will consider the culture of Akara Weku. That's the meaning of it. Mijin he. Say, Moon there will be for say, I mean, Penguin use our example. When there will be in Hannah say, wow, will be second, wow, one there 20 pa. Wekuna nese mehun pa ipokun onkun see the court na kare wekun that is all that it means oche dey be wiazim pa na nyim na we wiem pa yen ka ya ntum see the court na kare we wia na anyi so that one is proving innocent that sichira anyi was yen sekene twitwa na nka okrom ha chel was yen sekene twitwa na nka okrom ha chel ya tene ho mebusia kwa wa bajo mani. No, what money from? They destroy the economy of this country. Look at where inflation at the point is now got to 54%. Look at the exchange rate, interest rate. Look at what happened in this country in terms of galamsey. A president passing a law giving people the opportunity to go or authority to go to our forest reserves and destroy. One day, one of the forests was selling. According to Erastus Asaredongo, we give these people that power. And when you are finished being someone, I can't now go to the end of man Ghana and say power money. Now we have to go to US. We have to do this extradition back and forth. I mean, why? The biggest mistake we made in this country, and I've said it, and I've never regretted saying it, is to vote in Akufo-Addo to become president. Some of us knew what they were coming to do, and they proved that's right. Because check all of them. What did they get before they got power? Check Gabriel Chedakun. Check Asante Bediotu. Check even Kedofrata and Data Bank. Before they came to, what was Data Bank position? We sat down 8 years. These people have come to enrich themselves like crazy. Now what I also about a couple of factors actually. The one is proving in the sudden until say baby you know. So you may you fight corruption. Maka second song baby wa. Ghana from me how you the same way is not going to come back to Ghana. MPP must not come back to power.
Hey.
Oh yeah, simple. Because we want when you in my hand. MPP for when you in my hand there. Only your finance minister. And they say, oh man, it's coming national sir. They say, let's say, why should we give them opportunity again? Who would they bring again as finance minister?
I was so no baby sir.
Now imagine anyway, but also maybe you. Yeah, will be looking for another finance minister. You see, so and my position is very clear. My position on this matter is very clear. Let the lawyers speak their English. We the street boys, we also speak our street English. And I'm saying there, a kwana Kedofrata on the Ghana for Fado as a finance minister. Most of say ogun kofu ninjuma banks or collapse. Parkway syndrome no banks kwasi biala. When we're doing the campaign, if you baby in bank in the GN bank no so you get surprised. Hey, but you do it. Ba ahon yaw a tan nti egun kofu on bank na page wo data bank na ejina ho aye mebe ye nyina ewie asset an economy afọ mebe fe nyina ewie baby ya sama na eguan akasha abrochi eyi o ya disuo ma he nyina oman Ghana, and Nana Akufo-Addo must bow his head in shame. His own brother has run away. NPP must bow their head in shame when 88 of them, they saw it ahead of time. They can offer rate more sorukwe or bomb money from more yen on year into what sort of in the current leadership of NPP in Parliament. Afena Markin, Habib, and then another umpire. None of them joined the 88 to condemn or to ask that man to be sacked. And then when you know. Minister Nimpo and Parliament will be question and what's that person? Akufo-Addo, Mahama must get him out. They withdraw lithium agreement. Amabua, winning fuel. When the man was destroying the economy, stealing our money, you couldn't have press conference. Now MPP must show leadership. They should have press conference and tell the whole Ghana, the whole country that young minister will finance will go yes send the umbrella fee no be in samano omandama enyiminyama MPP one is sinking every day biano. It is diminishing. It is like we have called in economics something called the law of diminishing returns. For the MPP one enyiminyama it is diminishing by day, and if they don't bring Kedofrata by the time we go 2020 elections, I am telling you, so 38 to 41, I don't think they will even make 30%.
Prof, me pese what no de ye ka say obi di ye pe obi am na fi o man bi so it's titi to America ba Ghana wo de woni mu ye pa processes no etisen na ye hwe bibia sorry you be free any baby a yaba beduri na ye mi say an go say me am ti hei say me ni say me nya boni bia na so say my boni wo say lukuzedi and a special drink yi me na me no boye CCTV wa ha chese nyame na me no boye me so me obi an kra nim se nyame na me no boye na se me se me pese bo se me mra me yi me ho ano a how be just me kra me ni be one for me kra me ma be yi me ho ano because we no say me nya body bia e twa so na de to me so na mo se ko ba se e bia se me mra na me ye me ho se me ma if you don't nyame na me ye no obi binya dwo say e bia se me so no ye yampa enti in the interest of any the MPP as a political party, MPP as a past government no would you say a dia na so mo ye onu ankasa because din say owi ya owoma owabusia enti ye boni din nyina no ne ba di din tra na etre process is not the same ɛne sɛ deɛ sɛ ɔno ankasa yɛ ne ho fa na sɛ biribi wɔ hɔ a yɛtumi ahu kwada roma
agya me da se na mɛkyia wahwɛfoɔ ne watiefoɔ ɛwɔ wiase afa no nyinaa mɛsan wɔhyɛ yɛtiefoɔ nyinaa ɛyɛ merry christmas
sure
menim sɛ ebinom afi yɛ ankɔ yi ama wɔn deɛ nanso momma yɛnya awerɛhyɛmu sɛ nyame ɔbɛyɛ yesusa no na tomre bu a yɛtumi ekohuro 31st ne yakohuro afe no thinking say afe na yɛba ne deɛ bibia bɛyɛ dwo wa hwe ya na papa no kra na wakohuro no nania heba no anko die kra anidaso wɔ hɔ da bia no sɛ woda kiosk mu sɛ woda papadan mu sɛ woda patadan mu woda wo mansion mu da bia meka sɛ tomre bu asika kra yɛ boring esan sɛ mpa nankasa no ba bi fa akopɛ na woda adan no mikrom kofodua minwura dan bia mu apart from nyamedam mikowura no mu a empa no efa ba bi kakra na meda miwie na ma menkɔhɛ ba bi a ne akɔso bia be wa bɛkɔ no na ntɛfrɛ ne ayi na wo hɔ and mibusa me hu sɛ den pa ne yɛgye wasase so ti sɛ me hu sɛ obi sɛ me wɔ dan bebrese me wɔ car bebrese ya in America no yɛ wɔ problem wɔ saa nneɛma no ho esan sɛ Elon Musk na yɛ richest person in the world or your worth over $600 billion. Onifie.
Why?
Elon Musk.
Onifie. Oni mansion.
They say Opeche Trump or White House. Into Odru baby na say Odru hotel bia no wada na okone baby. Sa na brofo adwentie. Me na before me wo wiase na brofo doors sin ya before. Na abrofo wo show ma they live in a different world than ye before. Ya in negative energy we ho dodo. Amwa ehu niama esi nipa de nti amwa ben abrofo ne se omu wo positive energy ndi se oba kra na obema na wo ben no na ohun se ne kraman ehu na opa no nim se wayi ono emfa relationship abrofo living in a different world from here enti me baga na bia na metra wa eto me bia na ma wo sumiti se yen kra ye ko fa hen asa obonsam na nkasa ye ne neti wo ha America the land of the free and home of the brave. And this a we a free person. So when you're brave now when you are timid and no American wants a timid person to work with. And they say we are children. It is a me ba or this doesn't make sense. Now you have to explain to Ubano why it makes sense. We are watching idea for the rest of the life. So I had no papa so it doesn't make sense. Why we are obekun. Now what's another one the next day? It's not say I have no young condisa. On our yeshi and on minim kwa wo fa so a o ma fu se ni kasa ene kwasi botwe kasa ene ebu kasa sana ma kasa ba wo ko Rwanda ya ma politicians in kasa ya ma omo kasa ma ban kasa ya ko academia omo ye research CNN do the same BBC do the same why because ye no ye twa middle ground ya dwe o man no enti yanko left and I yanko right so yes I will compromise the integrity of your knowledge enti nka academia for e kan dokre no unim say ya kan o mashe university professors ahen and e kasa wo TV so and radio so
omusoro some be kan be
because of senior ya politics no
ya be kasa wo ya ndi so ya MP
exactly enti wo neutral be kasa wo fake neutral enti say wo gina he biem so you see the only genuine neutral polish shoe polish a term review ha na bibia ye serious na ye wo ye betumi so akwadwom na ya ba bombo saa say o man ya nye yie we ya meye say na mom ye betumi so aka ye nhira ni ya bobodin krokro na ne nyame aye no ebe ye nwoma wo hwe ofori acha asemi ya ye se ohyagro ya na obi a nhye no se be o mefa position ya mawo adwuma na wo se menya onye na adwuma obeye no nkrofo aka ho asem bebre nyame obo me no atomre bi a mebusa ne se ade na wo ye me saa ade akọ wo mamu bia ni wa asi a menyina ho kane no se na niam asesa na me da me hu se makoba bi ade be chi na meduru ho na se maba ho pen
okay
na mani nye ho se meduru New York JFK ase maba ha pen enso so na nya ni da so na me de call meduru ba bi se de nyame ye afro no hu se me asa talent ne me mpeto ifro nti nyama bebra akoso wo mamu a ma hu pen kwasi prat ni da jail ene yi nyina me papa ko da ho bi me hu ye makohu kwa me pepra ene Victor Salome e wo ketekrachi jail na say me ko hu kwa me pepra no wakoto dokno me nka ba bia me koto na onu aba bedi e won dokno ma hu niam bebre ni nipa bebre omo so sika bu pen ahwa niam na wo hwe etomre bi a awie nsa ne ya na eye me nwa kakra ofori atasem no eye very simple America court ye easy kra the easiest court e ho no emra ne ye adwuma obi anim mra no enti se wonim se wa ye bone a uko okroma na okrom no akoye se ne ye no na se ne aye ka asem na eboboba no akoye ne se ye ne politics we nya politics asem obi eye public servant we public servant a what so saman you are like a ghost obi bia ye open because we na do ho akoba for here say o pesa wo sumo man no nti pesa wo sumo man no a aware aware ba bia wo ko ni amafo hwe ye wo invest no na me because amanux a son of Ghana student na me wo sa sim sabi oba bi kra besra wa yes yanto aba ma wo se fa kope ba o enti ni da bia no nipa hwe sa na wo ye leader etie me PhD leadership studies me masters in leadership studies leadership na me kire na me mra ofurata de no so ofurata asem no ma me some space George Washington first president of America and that cross sign space no so miniano etri mi nyina ye fita na mani nso essay esan se masomo me na omo no mo sa conference na se obi a hyase se nani atacha ya wo leaders a omo de omo hunam nyina ba afore obi se Joe Biden ni yiro ne ma nyina awuye accident sumoman sa ne kokura bremu mom ana onya akwanya se odi bedi o man so sa mre no na waye mre nti ye hu kwa ofa so di ma Kamala Harris obedi na che se akachi sa tam no oye ne ho hwe enye ye wanyi owo person so ne man na so wanyi ke ofrata na simple ye ne America for sign extradition agreement 1960 okay. What it means in say America ni bi ye bonu no odwane betina Ghana ya mefa no free hanko ena Ghana ni so ye bonu no okoti America ya mefa no free wonko the best lawyers of America are Jews my best friends I attend to America are Jewish people so why your bonu say den na Jew ni ka so be you that is a fact to be any my Ghana Association president was since in Ohio for many years but you Ghana for be yeah, well, best lawyers were ho, but to admit say will be a best lawyers, you know, is to also admit say all lawyers, you know, problem. So also be found best lawyers, yes, sir. And in Niamana Ashas and extradition, Ashas say, okay, yeah, invoke a treaty in 1960. I don't know you're running the decan. You told me, you know, I say a formal request from the Attorney General says, Papa way, why A, B, C, D, and Tiasano, Monfana Maye. I don't know you know, first two ni ne toso me ensano America for be determine be a friend probable cause eno na yo momajuma enye Ghana for adwuma probable cause ne kire se on be assess se ofuri ata bone na yese waye na ampa se oye ebinum ni se kan ofuri ata okuta permanent residence our America me se me church ne ma mu ye because for me no se me wo TV so a ana se me wo radio so a me teach without wars enti omo behwe na se ekire se ofurata ye bone na ese o committee ye na fe no omo move the next step America o ba bi a asembi wo ha mentimi nkan cheche mu ye because e be a sensitive sabe wona wo yire ekra eda na okasi jai na wo to aso a rape no free police the probable cause in America for hemremu probable cause say okasi jai na wo ye ya wo bedam even though yo yire sa na mrane tie domestic violence say bia wodi bibia ba obi enti state bia timi on law na mbeka tie gba no pe say Florida I will stand your ground law ni che you state laws ni federal laws stand your ground law ni che say sa wonne dofu bia nya ukunu no oyire mwanya ntokwa engefu ye legalize no mema bia no ku a enye easy cause obema na so obema ntu bo no be obi enye oba asem enti say ututuo because you right to bear arms to be able to on fie and this wututuo na se bonipa na wanwu a emremu no ubekọ jail ba ubonu no owudi a we free state in mran say ese we stand o ground making sure say ukunu dia na wakunu yie e wo so no na wankunu na oba na yekokọ de a emran no obedi enti obi ane the law emran na to me be obi kromo mran no entwaso mu ma but wo kromo mran de entwaso mu ma senia omo de mraba America for na de mraba and British for emra esese eda ho pefe na obi ate ase Genti a your problem ye yi obi a problem nyina ne say Supreme Court judges ne ye say emra no enye enna ho fitee na se emra no na ho fitee sa de a na wo interpret a na obi nso so wo na dwen ene e fa ne contested issues
yeah
enti ye nyina ya wa dwen say obi atua taxes but the contested issue ni say sikafo ntua he ena hiafo ntua he eno no ya dwen ne nyepe nyankopon ye so intelligent say so boye nyina kro ena obi a look like me a anka ye nye and inti na Einstein said without a ma anka there's no color in this world esan say se ye nyina ye look the same and as ye nyina ye dwin the same anka source of information a ye de benya variability wen ka ye nyina be dwin back go be nya blind spot ye ka say traffic ye nyina gyina ho ye nko inti nyame boye nyina different ye dwin different na me ka che me students bi say se me anka sa me wo hwe me kok Mexico na me clone me ho. It is illegal to clone in America or Canada, but it is legal to clone Mexico. Mexico clone ni se betumi atwa me fingers ye kakra. They dey clone obi ye be ye nipa na teseme a. Obeka sa teseme anante teseme a bibia seme a. Na so say nipa na betena me nchen a me ne be problem even though ye me a. What you say? And you for that you first two steps. The third step probable cause. I don't know ye. Say I don't know ye be arrest no. Say na be ti sanya wo fie wa fra obi a na say wo na probable cause wa rape obi a ye be arrest wo. Ye arrest wo say detain wo. Ye detain wo a na fe pending extradition process. Na fe kra na ye be hyase. Ye arrest no for that in America free say. Me anka say July na me wo Mayo Clinic at Rochester. Me nka nya me hu ye nchro. Maka cho say nya me bo me no. Ye besi bia me hu. Enti our ho no so yare. Yare no oforiata our permanent resident our America or 5 nti say or visa ne man 5 years a. Manase Azure kan nra. Me kan another TV station me money din. Say February oforiata ne visa to US na expire.
February day enemy
by 11 for so. No oforiata visa or US na expire. But our case for America for bet me extending no because of the case. But expire our 10 years visa our Canada and a 10 years our UK. And you bet me ako UK and also bet me ako Canada. Oko Canada na fe ne yanso ye be san chance ye Canada Canada mrasi saying na fe ne yanso abehwehwe Canada so ye betifa your agreement with Canada ye be den extradite no wo ho na fe ya san akọ enti ade no enye nle asem e be che kakra isan sem mrasem de the grandi slowly kona bra see him court asem enti edu oni arrest na fe ya wo extradition hearing no and e behwe who say US court e be determine say extradition e warranted. There's a power of if there be am ko gina ba bi am kan say power of if e word so pa e say word bia wo wi ase if say boni na wo ye no e say e warranty say ye extradite no say omo ye ni say wi a ene na say Ghana you provide sufficient evidence to make sure say charges na ye charge no e align with US and Ghana law. Na no ne ma miensa na e so requirement. First, it will be a friend dual criminality. Dual criminality ni boni na oye wo ha no. The same boni no wa ye wo America na and I say e boni wo America.
Okay.
Ghana ye wo case because say obi ye dream ni katase sha e ye corruption. E free papa bi nye. Men so me ye me dissertation PhD on corruption. Enye the best definition of corruption say who use public influence for private gain. And he said, "Oh yeah, adwuma mu pani na say o de car no adwuma mu car no e kra ma wo yire say yemfa fire and as yemfa fa nyama nkogu fia. You are using public office for private gain. That is corruption." Enti ye hwe na ye hu say e dual criminality bone ne ye bone wo Ghana e san ye bone wo America. Ni akọ the second one probable cause no. Probable cause no yifiri bibia mu enye ye wo ho. Enti mo mienka sa na ye to so miensa no e ye treaty na requirement no nti say ya check it 2 aka 1 e dual criminality dream ni kata say ye bone wa America ye bone wa ha ne to so mienu e treaty na 1960 no ya invoke eno treaty na America for be fa abutrika na omode ne kono omo ye love scams ni nya do omo kono nti so omo invoke omo there to the advantage. Remember America for ewo permanent interest omo ni permanent friends a mantra public figure bi our American ye be kire say America na wo obedi animu no ye wo personal interest ye ni public ayi bi ase ye kofa namfo enti omutumi switch the negotiate say a veto powers are use so UN security why no bet me there am I because I'm year 7 it yan lobby we kan ho me yanya na de ko it's always American interest sa and omo bu o man because America ni if he say o ye nipa sin obia sa na de a show mo trim nti say wutu brika wa America na wo first enim say we are the best in the world wo basketball na we are here enim say the best in the world so obi twa na oba betra ho badwen ho say e den obi twa me ba bo basketball as omo kono so mo kolusu game na enu omo nkasa ubusana sembia omo feel they angry because and sese olusu South America spirited the show they bia we are number 1 in the world sese we yanisa enti enya Ghana for na be determine America for what they have to do in this case well the next a year say and he say we have to go through the extradition process a hono na sem no wo extradition process no I say your request submission ye we are na fe Department of Justice ebe review request no enti no emremu because Attorney General and the Sunday call Department of Justice nso no ono so be review na no nye federal court federal court and state court America or federal judges in your state judges who state judge say who license my PSC manager that into your license in let's say Ohio untimi nko another state to say Chicago na nko practice o practice only on the state so o person we increase your another test I'll be here for the tri-state na no just say Wisconsin no me pa Kentucky ba kan ho and the other side Pennsylvania ba kan ho states are 3 bom bia no obetimi your license in the 3 join your friend tri-states but answer no be license no another test abekwa akoye enye sa one state na wo na pe na lawyer ho untimi nko another state but federal judges there omo catch across so we need a federal judge we are na arrest warrant no a federal judge na issue say ye arrest no ya arrest ni we are afi na hearing process no abekọ so eno no so nyama miensa na say ye crime no committee and extraditable that means say can for out born na okoye no ehun be hia say ye de be call back to the chrome and I say ehun me hia ne to so mienu probable cause no nti me pese etiefo tie say probable cause ne de emfiri hoda na probable cause no ma kira se dada nti the last one is say oforiata na ye when the person is he the one being sought esan say obi wo ho a osame wo be fa be gina ga say oforiata ni nso na nye oforiata nti ne be DNA test to make sure say oforiata ni once that is completed no na nwie ye oforiata no score court ni yesi ye de ukọ Ghana onu so betumi ay appeal and some of the lawyers in the grabam remember I've talked about federal judges
it's a process in here
and you some ketwa enti Ghana ni bitia na odwen say ye kofo oforiata ba ni na senia afuze ni kan ni a kira sheka abutire se me na ba na mo fa na say ye the 5 million bounty ato no so nti ukọ ahia na be easy se me hu oforiata our Rochester Mayo Clinic but untimi en koso ni mu nka say
machino
enti approve process no ono oforiata na oya accuse no obe appeal the judge decision and na the lawyers bebam enti say atia ye kasa wakofa lawyers ye nuru hokra enti appeal judge the decision na afa na secretary of state na advise president no our foreign treaties and enti American embassy wa ha na omo nim ye koso oforiata nyina secretary of state just have to call American embassy say asem we brief me obe brief ni ye koso nyina they know. And what abrofo eya ade ni say they draw their enemies closer.
Yeah.
Enti say owie ni nyina na say appeal a secretary of state na be ma approve say okay finally nti aba politics mo ya approve say ya mfa nko. Enti even though be shasia wo from remu no politics and e be wie because acquire political figure. Now state bi say Michigan and other places so I am ra say ukuta $100,000 per now so babe invest our that state na on be ma green card and is for a person or another state no co invest $100,000 a state will give me a permanent resident green card I don't know the buy ye because I'm American citizen okuta alien number enti process no ense da nye isa no ewia ansa na ebe hu say process ni lengthy a complex and involve appeals and sometimes a diplomatic considerations and yama we nyina na sese ya ti ase say the be lawyers no mo ye ho adwuma be hu say enye bayira brewajo sa eno nso na me nso me wo problem me ni fu say ni ya adwen say for 10 months besides office of the special prosecutor no e ka say na ohun se okọ na no ntimi nya ho hwe no ada na wanye press conference anka che Ghana for say ma hu so forate afiri omamu na wa cholet akoma free mo pare sania menua kwasibo twegenia ekai me na kwasibo twesina na madam fo nti junior de na ma hu na how we related oh okay nti Secretary of State ne ba mu na bibia ayi wi a ebe take diplomatic consideration is say omoni aba na betimi negotiate but even oba no bedru Ghana ha afa na Ghana ha so 78 counts no
they be chase
na wa be ko Ghana court na Ghana court no so abede kwana bra we bail condition ni fasika we bra no so lawyers obefa Ghana lawyers wa ha enti menyi ni say we mfie na akra sembo say Mahama be free so ade e be wa just America for want to expedite action. Ti say FBI for ba be sha say butrika. No betina ha. Uni say ansana KFC ba Ghana ha no. Na KFC betina Ghana 5 years. E ku ba bi on be site bibia. Because Walmart were every 5 miles. Without planning, or life is left to chance. Enti abrofu bibia ye plan. Yeah, professors were why e kira omo ade no. Every Monday bia no ye kira ade wi a ye free be after hours. Ho na be hu nkrofo omo no mo wan ne bia. Informal wa ye din komo no. Obi bisa what is the next big ideation? They are always looking for the next big idea. Yeah, de bia nkrofo ho nsem. Ye say we hwe we say sa na ka say negative energy we ho dodo. Wo asem we mra. Na America there so obi eto mra wo krom na oba ho dia. It is only mra pe na betimi din aba. Enti mu hwe mra ne ye hwe kwa befa so yenso ye de mra no eba wi wom ye nya ofurata ba na nka meni ofurata dia sabe ojidi se wonye eboni bia na pawuli nsam ye clean dia ene no ane se nka maba menie na mo hwe nya mbetimi aye ade e ha me ba ko e wo sansem we mu eye yen ye politicians a oyare a na okọ me hu America politician bi ana Europe politician bi a areho sam ne say Europe nankasa omo Schengen visa kra no so obi yare Amsterdam or Holland or now a Dutch ni now yare no ko German hospital a political figure that's a big issue you be you because I don't know why on patronize idea ya wodi anti mo hwe side ni ye say obi yare ya na yeso obi kwa brocha ko hwe yare ene na den tin na yen train doctors specialists e wo ha ama mo hwe yen obi wo Harvard Asian African Studies or full scholarship Ghana for African Studies Asian African Studies were Harvard. Yeah, Africa higher studies, you know. Ocean or Harvard. I'm a full scholarship. Your man is stipend, because Sandy told you any be or Sandy too quiet. And to mind spending more sika, obviously we have medicine to have 5 years, 7 years. When you mind yet, you're doctors.
Let's say now I'm out for some more so with the change and because we should see Kuya. Na ebedi mre kakra but ya hwe de besi eyemra ani hyehyɛ na ye adwuma nti emre na bɛkyerɛ ye bɛhwɛ duba kwa pounds menum ye bedi nkomo kakra nsa na yasɔre sanse ya nhya se ntem enti kwasi na mo party on the 30th and 31st ambeto aba na fusan donko wasen bi kan ɛwɔ national service wona ɛno no ye bɛpon na ye bɛka ye bedi ho nkomo ene we say obi ka say obi kokka say brofu bi marafaka obi so ebe ka say eche say ensem bebre enti say what is bi wo ho a akemo mienu bi na yenyina so hwe watimi wakame a ekoso ewo MPP mu no ehun samu etisen ebi betumi abobi asum ene nasefo ne ma tetisa ne se your video sum ba back bi of Randy ye money ye mfani enkomo
any qualities in him like presidential qualities.
I don't see presidential qualities. I can see him that he can do some businesses no over exaggerated.
How?
Because and nobody saying now a friend saying factories don't want him now no I was in 19 away 19 factories away unenne wo se wanyanya ansan foforo a wakofa kube ato wo se kube nie na yebetumi anya we afiri kube ada na ada wonye kube etumi eboa nation ada na ada wonye enti ebi kwa na wo campaign you know because ene na offer trade minister o new presidential material.
What's the trade minister?
Of course. So now all the products are baby.
Also ideas and what ideas now you can implement it.
Yes, the ideas now you know how far have you implemented it? Private. Nyamini ni penny me can cross it me can or here Japan our problem. No one. Name mom and penny dear no. And yama bebre near the year. Miss Papa na koma. Mr. Sel Nyami and we are mobile cry, obey me and your cabinet. Yes. Papa no koma.
How well do you know him?
I know him like this.
Be made.
Me say the temperament. And then maybe cry a bit to me as parliament, no, any pictures, no. Only call for and talk. And now, be being because okay. And Yabotre na yen friend Koboko. Onum Miss Ejomuna.
That's not problem. I can say this time no won't allow proxy voting. So what supporters are?
Yes.
Oh.
Now I'm got to what be winning. What would it be? I support. Maybe just this Tuesday. Almost a call last week here say abra mo the guidelines aba for party aspirants. Yenya agya to. Yawa. Omsi efedie omu pese MPP for ankasa efa omu security and omu dia ko guard a monitor
within the party and
within
security.
The party. Abra mama guidelines say die ma regional chairman constituency chairman obi akoto aba free ho na nka police no. Then they went to justify their case to elections committee say omo pese afedie ye fa internal security medina omo boboy na esre
so he for this internal security no
and phobia omo free say baby a ekono omo we are rigging no say no mo the last time entimi maso enti me intel nyala na my omo din omo kase the D-Day and toko abesi eni now who didn't talk about senator umpe party ni and no say any power be muntino obia I study
okay
and the only way umpe so me say failure the party security meaning about what we be paying.
Honorable Obeka say you're speaking in parables so Oka say omo de he for this party security ne beba.
Well, Osha list of the buyer, it favors one candidate, named Moody, but they know themselves. Fortunately,
Jim, we are so confident, and you know what was to say about 70% or it could be more. About 15 MPs, and about I be declare we must support Eddie DNB, and apart from that, and painful be no more party, no more so we must support it. Are you not worried?
Nipa 23,000 and the trouble is here almost finalize the album between 22 and 23,000 and a trouble we see say 15 I can say omukudi oba kufu echia I no I didn't how
and count but let's not forget to say 15
awie tape no dos yetumi mu ni nyina na ebere ni ti nanka ena bibire ho nanka yesi bobo na we nyina eye MPP amayoku no franka tudibre ho aprobo ene ho samsam na yetiti bi wotie dedi kan bo na eye ono onunyafo atachia enka ne ebo kwa south na shebedwani oyemi MP na oyemi MP mamenka ne saa ana na wokasa se usuro se uraka na Japan yobi asudo sitie no wan hwe yi a kuma besoro ma na tuso be mampani a obeta obi adwen ho aye cabinet ministers obetumi ahwe na so na kan se o adwen na de dada wan fa nya adwuma ne ho nsabisam uraka na Japan so misre uraka na Japan so kasa no ka bibi se party ne si on be use party security wo bra beto aba no na so ye ne so man yi mu no se ka bambo ho sound security e wa bato ho a eye oman bambo fo ne titiru eye police fo e na re show bonsa enti no wono so kire se de na mekeke ko na kame ai say ye yade na se na be ya ye be na obi na obitumi enya saa dibre no ye chinchim nkrofo so se de si ye 2023 no saa na ebia wo susu se ebebetumi asan ababio kwase botwe mu na mo party asamu yi ewo mu vigilante ku no kura no ma breso ne yetwa vigilante mu ana ma so rule of law na mo de adwuma bibia anti se ne yekoto aba party internal security am de bako adwuma na ne de wo him ene wetin waka me ekoso yi ekoba se obakudi nkunimu a wo maka ne betu enya kokoduro ene akomapa de ataade obedi nkunimu na chi ana mama o ye wo producer say empon be 9:30 11:30 till mama o be 5 minutes.
Agya Kwabena me da say 5 minutes the crowd dey doso because we dey e fie nkomo. Enti no dodo na ye beka ne fie. Aha dey ye kwa ho wada.
We kan abontinti no.
Enti na meka say the details of it ne dey ye beka ne dem enti 5 minutes the crowd dey doso. But Agya answer na meko MPP insem so no. Prof akasa profoundly and I think say we have all learned from it. But Prof make your observation. I also have a slight observation about it, about how academia was say more and more. I agree with Prof 100%. Academia there was saying academia timijina infinfin. Say they will serve as a watchdog on the politicians and even the other arms of government. Because the judiciary ye be a politician bekan a best sounded a certain way. Chance and will be what academia anymore. Or criticizing judiciary and not judiciary. And I said, but Prof, the worrying situation is that say no here academia for ni bi wo no mo kasa na aban ne sesa no makokoje appointment. Na afi no mo ba be da ne politicians. Na ama academia ni nia no Ghana fo hu academia ni nia in a certain way say he say o kasa kura ye say bia wo interest bi she obotominti na o de kasa ni we are treating the academia say or stay in academia and almost serve as a watchdog on the politicians. But then say academia ni we are abiding sisa no akwakoje shippers authority, no akwakoje tourism say, no akwakoje small arms commission ni ade ni dey a hardware.
Na ya fa so nipa di academia na so akasa. Ni nsam aka no fom so bia eni ho. Nsam aka no so ye no kore pepepe. Na se du baby na se oman no fo se anasa ban ko no ban no fo so betu nya no so fa so a. Because so yeah, academia and into the monkokoji de breno.
Agya Kwabena, you see, the challenge is that if your position in academia no is always criticizing the government, na say o de bia no o at the back o bo aban at the government of the day ne tie bia e fa ne say prof tie prof kasa no wan kasa wa kasa say academia wa kasa say neutral. Na say bia asem na make prof ne bia prof tie na or utim say asem o kania no de bo aban na chi or de bo aban na chi or de bo aban na chi de aban na ye crab bi o deserve credit o bia nim say o deserve credit
no de o say
na prof de bo aban na chi na fi aban ne e ba aban mu a ye beti ye say prof akwakoje appointment
e no say na problem
e mo bia susu say e bia prof ko bo aban na chi sa time ni no interest ni share ni bottom aha nti be bia ye kokko ne fan to say kokko be bia tuntum ye fan to say tuntum. That is my humble opinion. Agya Kwabena the edikan is a MPP about one year kwakoto na the me hu say a internal election, and they do internal election be history teaches us that it be very tensions. This is not the first time MPP about to be tensions. 1593 yakoye internal primaries ni ano I think say nini ano I yet tensions until now. But at the end of the day, near two abani we are yesanka ye hubom. Ye fear kunya na yababeto apre ABC. But at the end of the day, ye pre we are ye ni yesanka ye hubom as a kuba akoma. Ema ye kun e make sure say political power na ye pe in 2028 and yensa ebetimi aka. Na video say our boy ye ni no. Let me see. Say mpanifo a contesting ya nkrofo 5 a contesting ya no Agya Kwabena obi asefata say odi MPP anima eye na se bi o mo nsem fata nko mo ko vetting ne kan vetting committee a ye papa o me fidi president Kufonu ane da no Dr. Kwabena Kufo da no anko mo disqualify omo the fact that they've been cleared to contest means that omunia the MPP flag bearer na they all qualify by virtue of the MPP constitution and the national constitution. However, no, the aim of Amanyoko is to win political power, which means ye kwa yi flag bearer, nye flag bearer keke ne mum ye pe flag bearer party ne yi ne wie ne Ghana fo be hu se sa flag bearer akro no ne ho akono a Ghana fo be hu ne mobo a or the policies and programs to dia Ghana for ebeto abama no. I am of the opinion say the personality of the candidate matters. And some of the policies of the party nso ne candidate no the beba out no. Obi won mo timi ka say me koto abama asumesi if we say oye tenten, if we say oye tieti, if we say tuntum oye kokko, if we say me pena asem. Any policies or they banti but the personality of the person also counts. And me I have thought all the 16 regions. When the party for the din come party for the cast back, we say ye probably obeti mama your reigning power. Ye probably what the needed competence. Ye probably what the needed experience. Ye probably what the needed vision. Ye probably a jumano ye discerning sir or what the necessary presidential temperament and composure to hold the office of the president or to manage the nation. The party for Kenya, I share researcher, party for Kenya, and it's even supported by researcher. Yeah, Musa Dankwa, Ediaba out, Global Info Analytics. I projected Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to a certain percentage. The second person within a tier on Kennedy, Japan. This same research numbers, APL for African policy lens for so your more research. Dr. Donfe money idea so your more research and so no. They were around the same numbers. Omuye now we are Konrad Adenauer for so a German center right political foundation and for so the more research about Ninia projected between 67% to 69% for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Oko grounds nenswa Sano bieka but other security
they are working so no he will need other contestants
of course,
also
absolutely
no to the sometimes to be post to be on social media about some of the candidates as candidates in the Kenya enya de etino say sa marafaka obobo sutro what you say why say ni ekasa na mani nyina wie na so de eye favorite ni wie you surely need the ana ok marafaka no to come and support and then maybe at sir it would you be able to say no ba masu to me abam reconciliation be to me abam pense makukoyi
Agya Kwabena, I'll answer this question with a statement the Honorable Brian Champon made. Say about election there will be to jobs koso. About election there campaign jobs koso. But again, I have not posted anything derogatory about any candidate. But when say social media near was no and no bit meeting baby flyer Agya Kwabena picture to so now I can say Agya Kwabena ka sembia for be home. But I have never made any derogatory comment about any of the presidential candidates. Me betina he maka so omunia omuwinia omunia in fact omunia omu contesting in ya no bi asefata. Na mum se pese ya winning power in 2028 there the most prepared, the most formidable, the most marketed candidate or what the necessary experience, expertise and vision to lead this country Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That is the point. But Agya Kwabena about we no 2023 you call the same thing. You no honorable King Japan in second. In as much as showdown near the idea no Obabak ever supported Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Dr. Brian Champon Ba if he decay sweet about some 3 days ago. He stated categorically says when we ni krana candidate be obe we ni biano obe support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia nam ne turn so what so no there you'll be over we need be an over supporting and idea. But I mean it is clear. About when they are delegates in no position is clear. Agya Kwabena again. There is a perception there because of MPP you are pre party ni kura need 9 business. But I can assure every single person say this is just a phase. Let's just by 2 months time this phase shall pass and we shall put ourselves together.
All right. Fuseni What they been any the fear some so and case okay bio. All the best ma back be aka na fear be kan wo NSS no asem tie.
Send be ono so the NSS ni enka bi.
We senka Agya nsero na nka nya o mayiye ka betu pre mfa me ho. Anzo Agya Kwabena ye nyina ye ntakramoa.
Sure.
Bird flu enim asen enim apetu pre. E ba aka ye nyina.
Yeah.
You see ade we asase fi ha ya. Me ka kire o se edan na omusi a omashase e bo nchense ansa na ya be ye foundation no e de asem beba. Enti na ya na manage Agya ebo ne partnership hono on say asem no kan pempen a e yade na so no kore wo hoi ye kan pen aden yen se chirin kan kire na do say onyi ne nsem free MPP mu he should stop controlling the MPP
Nensa wo
Nanda just wants to mortgage MPP to omune nebusia.
Hey, now that's not do baby.
President Kufuor kra or the MPP saba power. UP near after base almost 30 years or team side UP tradition bar power. President Kufuor kra you allow him to mortgage the MPP. Why do you allow Nanado to do it?
In two patches and Nanado na be choose
community dear question nyina ne nsa na hye
Abba, why ding? O ma ti baby dwini hu.
Oluhan man. Emreya ye kofa ba ye se ye ndi kan ko yi flag bearer ansa na yakwa koye branch election akoye memisi branch police station elections akoye constituency election ni nyina na se ye hu se bebia ye gina no bridge building blocks na ya hye ma aba omia ya nya ne ntem na efiri yensa ekudi bebia eno ano na gi yensam eti yensan bo modiane hwepo om nyina in line na ntem pan yensan make sure say omubeyi baumia ansa yedi kan yi baumia wie dia then baumia will select his police station executives baumia will select his constituency executives obe selecting the regional executives no asa selecting the national executives then he now has total control over the party. Yes.
The baby to my yesa.
Yes, she frasi kwa ni eba be police station elections. Atam kwa ni nyanto ala ne ba omia de no. But there was a camp. Ala nkrofo ni ba omia nkrofo ni. Eno kra na omu nyanko flag bearer race no. Ema yetimi hye ya de ko wie se ko bia kra ba yeso oye ala ni. We say ye baumia nipa na fu se bi kudia kasa ye ntie nyina enye se attack na ye de tale ne ntia
akaso mu ntie wa ifa
hwan
who party no
na ze peni be na wo party no wana kasa ye tie
useni e bremi support
Agya Kwabena so for me yes me tu omofo nsemi bia omu gie ne de ano o hyepa he bema wo ye na de a they can't bear my part so be disrespecting no. If you disrespect a man, it's painful than any other thing. Until you can do anything to any candidate to be jai. But if you disrespect a certain candidate, Masa, ye pia card okutemu pa so no gina fa akon. Ahode o de be piano ni ho. Onfa nye. E bi se nanu bi no ubu nanim tia. Nti futu me de be ma omo no no mo ka say yi
me dan say ebo me ma 2 minutes na prof 2 minutes brenisha na ye sorry
ja the American I mean my MPP nyida nti and let me put it on record for those who don't know
ya so nya MPP ni bi
oh yeah mete den ko fose
so brefie
now also can MPP whom I was say Ghana mpocho I mean if MPP 2010 I've said it on record Akufado je party and the party non koye. Time 2010 and me film. Nti let that one be on record. Now, what's in there political parties now? Woyi obi ma oba your man panyin nti asem bi a record of political party ma also for because I'm sure you know kuyi nipa boni bi na so obi zo man panyin na ye hu bi pen. Mpenfu se hu bi penti na boss rewa onye mere za agwa na we den wo nyina na atu nchen. Because you will be pen party big you be a was ben Ghana fam pekra nti ye beka wasem ye beka kakra Remember that Kakrabo in here. Also, on Kabibia and Fintek in Japan. But I want to read something to him so that no kinds of no cast and bonnet here, Papa. My main video be an Nankasa now. Ni television station or can make statements in reference to Japan or say one trouble movie one injection and sana or one injection and sana wait to now watch check.
Jacob, I hope so refer to me no opportunity to respond.
Of course, if I can even give some of my time. It's on record. There's a video. The video is out there. 2 Star FM where you will post courage without wisdom is very dangerous. This he said that when can Japan okay there baby we do here akukuduru because last election no most leaders no nya akukuduru no nya akukuduru for no was about there akukuduru anyansa enyim or dangerous or it's an insult. It was an insult to Kennedy Japan to say that Kennedy Japan name onyim nyansa. Now actually the insult attacks on Kennedy Japan I've never seen its kind in politics before. And this young man in some kasa worker in penfubisha wonechi I mean, there say we or chon we are do MPP party is it. Sagana for now, Obanyumba Yajuna, Yamontin opposition in Chad because a bonner ways no doors will need longer time to even deal with the corruption cases or there was the issue. Yampia nole prosecute issues be our Ghana. Yamontin opposition in Chad. Now yam for kwana eba for that sika we nyina yetu agigini nyina ansa na wana aba na aba obaba abakade awo kofie awo for muzi nti mo kwaro na ze yena eti na chi no ame sabi obi na wanya na asam na RSI na party I can't be part of it. Okay. But you see before 2021 1st January 2021 obi be otem bia onko read this article. I wrote an article. Why would MPP want to commit political suicide? A very lengthy article. I think about 9 pages or so. 2021, 1st January.
Okay.
Now article no, I told MPP why Dr. Bawumia will never be a good candidate. And I used political market analysis.
Okay.
To make that point. Okay. And I said, that article, if you read it, it will be like you are reading it. I just wrote it.
Okay.
And for Ghana Web, my Joy Online and all that. You can go and do it.
Prof, Nipa no mo contest no. Na question person make a quick one say Dr. Fauci COVID by
Dr. Fauci US
or academia, but government needed him to solve a problem.
Yeah,
and he was roped in there. Dr. Ben Carson, na mahunia adokofo Dr. Adokofo so a chair, and tokwano edoso. Na say mo koye party ati say mo waware mu na BBSC na mayem hu bi we aka we ache we afebo mu betete no na focus oh kana mo fata na mo nka mo mu a omo si da bi se na ye ho ekosi ye no ye ba bi ma enye den enye ye because ya say ye ho awie and no NSS MPP for avoid it there when Reagan ye busa and said no be Republican okay say I did not leave the Democratic Party, the party left me obe ye Republican be ye president enti abroche dey side say ma free akwa han kenya problem ahana uko free baby ko baby awase
mato when the brain no in fact na insafu for be pure or national friend is saying national service war say yes nkrofo bi kura ye hu nipa foforo bi yes man obi anya 68 years so national service personnel amba we say we dey 30 seconds pe
make say nyame adu ye see ghost na no kwan na say abayifo na yasha ase echiche o
which is no
na yasha ase echiche o because they are in flesh and blood. You see some of the institutions ni bi o ha nipa boni 70 no ebia on take computer na nim school ka say we don't interfere in the class list. You must school na upload in uploading the class list no matter unqualified candidates account no ma generate index numbers among
for na no na dey
some of the people in the community penifo na hu omo no people in the community o ma mobilize o ma catch them so aban be ma omo adwuma omo de omo for omo Ghana card mbra na mum sika ne ba mo de say ne betuaka nti se 715 ne ba ebia no ono afa 300 no the 400 ama recruiter
komo na ke see ye nya brand di private
I was very much interested in this
but and your commercials more than 30 minutes you're just about 20 minutes na e dia so nti madam ase kwese bo twa madam ase ebo madam ase na faith to say madam ase prof so madam ase ye bre no aye
bibi bo mi di wadaroma
ye be so and then the last day aye critical issue ye bre no sa akamama akwankra ma wakasa sense for say ni asaw no na me interest wo mu pa na ye to me di san common but ebre ni nti ye de be sia ye de mo ase the whole year ye no na tena ye dem say ye de ye bia na mo pe ebi o ho ye amani anye ho mo fa nche ye na ma bi won so mo so mo ye so ni anye ho ye so ye de ache nti ye 2026 mu a ye de nipadua foforo adwen foforo koma foforo bibia foforo na ye de ewura mu na ma me fa san kwan so emphasize the PSA emma special drinks for so mo so ya sene sa ni fa sidama this way for so mo so ye musa na bi command it for abekwan so mo so ye musa and afa the new kid on the block ye Lucas de da o se misel se onipadua na do ba bia na wa eboho so ba num energy drink ya misel Lucas de nanom men kono nom ne ho na be mo anya kidney problem na se for no Lucas de de ye no fitete duro nti wonomu a eno ano no ene mame fa afisiapa mame ba me mame nom maako be bia wo bia no ye ma afisiapa ma afim nu ne bedi bronya no nti maako bia wo bia no me chia pa na afi antipina man so nti na ponso ma afisiapa na nyakopo nhyira wante sewa Mrs. Sofori ena fanti ramma Mrs. Osekwa me despite ena anti Kate Mrs. Father Dixon ena fe me mama and mama Angela Bachi ansa o kumase manja no pay me chia opa me so me da mo ase papa na mo dia me bon pa ne se komani adwene amunya ye na mo didi achi no munya koma foforo na adwo foforo sa ne fa enante mo mutwa bo me na mo hye me na mo yidi matam na mo kan nyina no me dia chemo na sama mo nyesa biu so mati ye wa ya doma next year ye be sai ehia we that say enti ye dan say ya kramu ina production team so me da mase papa ye ho ya doma se wonni be bi efre aha enti coordinated one pa but you see emma me ye ding aha me kura enti me ya tu ya no na reka sanse onipa bi a wo so pa no baabi no kan hu say ono so achitafo ono so abusua se dia won pese obi begu hu fi no mengo obi hu fi wo bra onim sasam no aka no enya no kore radin ke nyina ho ya kra